This is the author commentary for the day Billy Fats busted. A quick disclaimer, this book was created in 1978 by my 12-year-old self, so it doesn't have some of the modern sensibilities regarding obesity. Please take that into account. As you can see, this is a little different from other ones I've done. I did in mostly pencil when I first started, and this one's done in pen. In fact, it's done in a fountain pen, and you'll see it's got the blue ink. And when you wrote with a fountain pen, it would come out wet, and it would have to dry, and it dried fairly quickly, but it wasn't like a ballpoint pen or anything where the ink dried almost instantly as you write. So you had to be kind of careful as you did this. And also, maybe in some areas, but most of the areas I don't think I sketched it out before I actually drew it with the pen. So I'm pretty sure I did sketch this out a little bit. And as you can see, this, if you look real close, there's some faint pencil that's been erased. This was going to be another book before I scrapped that idea and erased all that and started back over with this story. And I can barely make it out. It's kind of like something about the evil that changed the town or something. I can't remember. Kind of sounds like maybe that Ray Bradbury book was something evil this way comes or something like that. I think there was a movie or something on television about that. But anyway, that was an abandoned idea, and then Billy Fats came in. And as we get into it, you can see by this time in 78, about 3 years into creating these, this page was pretty well established as far as how it looked and the icons and items on it. Notice I've changed it. This is now a pen comic to highlight the fact that this was done with a fountain pen. And this numbering system is was put in later to try to figure out. I tried to go back and try to determine what was the order that I created these in, and I this is just a kind of not an exact, but I think this was about number 33, so that's why the number 33. And then as we go, you'll see the numbers at the bottom. There's the little cricket there. He's pretty much established, and I have no idea how this figure came into be, if it's like a record or a drop or whatever, but that's established in the pen ink icon. So as you can see in this story, there's a lot of text, a lot more text than usual, and I'm not sure if I was just going to write a narrative story with text or what the idea was, but as you can see, as the story progressed, it's mostly text with a few illustrations here and there. So you can see I got Billy here. He's kind of rotund, and as you can see in the next page, when I get that, I had some issues with Billy being more of a giant than a very large person, very fat person. So I don't, see he's like twice the size of the waiter here. Not sure. Well, I think I was having issues with making him big and fat, but also making him be able to fit in behind the table. So maybe he just became giant instead of fat. You can see I misspelled Red Lobster. Why his favorite restaurant was Red Lobster, I don't know. Maybe that was just the first thing that came to mind as I was writing it. So as we get into the story, you see he has this episode where he eats too much and his stomach begins to rumble, and he has the big explosion, which is the disaster, which is why it's called the disaster book. I guess it's a person who eats too much, an explosion. And this is kind of, when you're 10, 11, 12, this is what you talk about is what if you ate too much and you exploded. And this is the story where Billy does that. Of course, there I spelled Red Lobster correct here. I don't know why I didn't quite get it right the first time. And then there's the tidal wave of food and guts, I guess. And then in this panel, we have the arrival of another character. He's not introduced at all. He just discovers Billy floating around in his own stomach contents, and the entire city is flooded with the stomach contents. And then there's the rescue, and they rescue Billy. But then this guy is kind of drafted as the hero of the story, the unknown hero, and he has to dive in and go and the solution to the problem of the flooded city of the stomach contents here is to open all the drains so it all drains out. So he swims around in there and does that. And you have the big slurp, and he's the hero. And then the prologue here, or the epilogue, I should say, where he's bandaged up. Now, when I look at this reminds me very similar of a children's book I had at the time very similar to the story of the old lady who ate a fly and then continued to eat everything. There was another, I think it was based on a Swedish or Scandinavian, if I find it online I'll post it in here, but of a cat who ate everything and then till he was cut open. And this is kind of almost the exact same picture in that book, where the cat's at the very end has a little band-aid over his stomach after he's been chopped open, and everybody's escaped. The end, and that's the signature. And that's the day Billy Fat's busted. If you haven't watched the book that this commentary is about, you can click here. Or you can click here and watch another one of my cricket books. Or you can click on this mystery box to go to something completely different. You can also subscribe. Mobile users can find all links in the description or the card in the upper right hand corner.